Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about targeting expansion within Facebook advertising. Anyone who's set up targeting within an ad set on Facebook ad through the ad manager will have seen in the detailed targeting section there's a little button down here that says expand interests when it may increase link clicks at a lower cost per click. A lower cost per link click. And if you turn it on, then you've got an expanded reach. And what does that actually mean? What is actually going on here? What is Facebook doing? So basically what this is, and you can find out for yourself here, this little information icon, if you hover your mouse over it and then click on learn more, it's going to bring up this little panel here about targeting expansion. So it's quite useful. And so to summarize, what that means is that Facebook is taking any interests that you've specified, and it's sort of building like a lookalike audience around that. It's not actually a lookalike audience, but they say you can think of it like a lookalike audience. Now, I have set up in this particular case a test ad set that is strictly geared towards people with small business owner behaviors and interests in Calgary of a specific age speaking English. Now, I have for comparison, another ad set that is the exact same targeting except no interests or behaviors at all. And I'll get to that in 1 second. But the targeting expansion. So if Facebook thinks you'll get better results, it'll expand the audience. Now, what does it mean by better results? Well, it means more results and or a lower cost per click, or cost per lead or app install or things like that. So generally considered, those are good leading indicators of results. You may want to be wary that those may not be the actual results you're interested in. It could be something else like consumption of content or something happening on a landing page that may not be tracked as a conversion. So keep that stuff in mind. Facebook's going after more and cheaper. Now, if you have a saved audience in here, the targeting expansion will not override that. It won't make any changes to it. You'll still have your saved audience, so it won't end up adding lookalike bits and pieces into that. Also, if you've got any exclusions within your targeting, like you say, I only want to target men, the audience expansion won't suddenly start targeting women, for example. So it won't override any exclusions that you've got. Now, when it comes to actually measuring what happened here, you won't be given the ability to say, what was the performance of sort of my core audience, the targeting that I did myself versus the expansion that Facebook did. Facebook's own words are basically compare the data from before you turned it on to the data after you turned it on, which is, it's good advice and you should do that, but it's just kind of silly that that's what Facebook says. So you really don't get to see what's going on here. Much like a lookalike audience, it's kind of a black box as to what's going on. So that's sort of the summary of targeting expansion. Whether or not you should use it, it's entirely up to you. One scenario in which I found it potentially useful, and I mean in practice useful, is if my targeting is really tight and my frequency is getting higher and higher. In other words, the number of times people are seeing my ads is starting to climb. There's 7, it's 8, it's 9, it's 10 times. The audience expansion is a nice, easy, one-click way to broaden out your targeting and expose your ads to what Facebook believes, algorithmically speaking, are people that are likely to perform in a similar way. So you get to sort of drive those frequency numbers back down. Now, you got to be careful. Usually my go-to would be, adding in new interests, creating a new ad set, putting new ad creative in, things like that. But that said, the targeting expansion, because it's using Facebook's algorithm, sometimes it could be really useful. Follow Facebook's advice and compare the results before and after to make sure you're sort of on top of what's going on. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have another ad set that is the exact same targeting as this one, but just Calgary. Here's what's interesting. My small business Calgary ad set has a potential reach of 380,000. If I turn on expand the interest, well, it's a potential reach of 820,000. Just so happens that all of Calgary with the same demographic information is also 820,000. So it looks to me, unless that's a really crazy coincidence, that when I turn on expand interest within my strictly small business ad set, Facebook is saying, well, okay, well, potentially we'll show it to everyone in Calgary. Now, I'm sure it's smarter than that, and I'm sure Facebook is not just going to open up my audience to everyone in Calgary, because that would be the equivalent of Facebook just sort of creating a new audience by deleting all of my interest targeting. And I'm sure they're not doing that. I'm sure that's just a number that says it could show to anyone in Calgary, but don't worry, we got this. The black box will take care of it. It'll be smarter than that. So we'll see. Test, measure, see what the results are. Use this at your own discretion. It's kind of a buyer beware thing. It's not my go-to if I want to expand the audience. I'd rather sort of do it a bit more within my own control. I was going to say more intelligently, and I think that's unfair because I'm sure Facebook's algorithm is very intelligent, probably a lot more intelligent than me at doing this targeting, but I'm kind of a control freak, so I'd rather do it myself. All right, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.